NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is calling on the federal government to extend the GST tax holiday. The 2-month hiatus designed to ease the financial strain on Canadians ends tomorrow. Singh says Canadians still need help.
This weekend, the GST holiday will end. So you're going to end up paying more for the things that you need. So more for diapers, more for children's clothing, more for grab-and-go food at the groceries. I think that is wrong. I think it's wrong that you're going to have to pay more for things, particularly in the current context. We've got the threat of a trade war. We've got tariffs from Donald Trump. People are worried that they might lose their job. They're worried that prices are going to go up at a time when they're already so high. So I think it's wrong that the government is choosing to do this now.
With the federal tax holiday ending, a big question remains, was it worth the effort? CBC's Anis Hidari takes a look.
There are mixed reviews out there about just how much a GST cut changed anyone's shopping habits.
No, not really. It's not like, oh, now I can go for a vacation. Or, oh, now I can buy, I don't know, like a PlayStation.
Well, I guess if I did added up the numbers, it would show up. But really, in terms of behavior or buying, it had no bearing.
The biggest difference has definitely been at restaurants. I'm more encouraged to go out to restaurants.
Restaurants like this one agree.
I think it was a much needed relief when they saw their bill. They were very excited to see that tax break reflect on their bill. It was much less than they were expecting.
Industry leaders want the cut to stay to help a sector they say is struggling.
This is actually working and stimulating the economy and providing Canadians with the relief that they needed to be able to treat themselves on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis.
But the reviews aren't as hot in other sectors. One of Canada's largest payment processors said they saw fewer card transactions in the first month of the GST cut compared to the year before, with Moneris suggesting the tax break didn't boost sales, something predicted by many economists.
You called this a nightmare several months ago. Has the dream come true?
I mean, government managed to use several $billion in one of the worst ways I could imagine, so I suppose so.
The GST cut was projected to cost $1.6 billion.
We knew that this was going to be an expensive policy with the general idea that it would make people feel like life was more affordable. I think that at a fundamental level, that hasn't shifted.
On top of that, retailers like this one agree this tax break didn't seem to drive spending.
I think it was such a non-starter. I think we didn't feel that it was fantastic or like terrible. It just didn't really do anything.
So by Sunday, say goodbye to the tax cut that just didn't cut it for everyone. Anis Hidari, CBC News, Calgary.
For more on this, we're joined by Dan Kelly in Toronto. He's the president of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. As you heard there, it's finishing, and I'm kind of guessing, because I've heard you talk about this before, how you feel about it. Was it worth all the effort?
No, I don't think it was. I don't really think that there was a way for a temporary holiday to really light the world on fire. In fact, for most businesses, this in fact will cost them money. They will have spent more to implement the tax holiday than they will make in additional sales. Our data from restaurant, including restaurant owners, retailers, and all the sectors that are touched by it, only 5% saw an increase in sales at all. 95% either saw their sales remain the same or actually go down.
So Dan, what do you have to say to Canadians who are saying the tax break should actually be extended now in light of these tariff threats? Do you have concerns with that idea?
No, look, I think the spirit of the fact that Canadians are tired of paying taxes and we need to see tax rates drop is absolutely right. And Canadian small business owners join Canadians in feeling like we've just paid way, way too much. Mm-hmm. So some permanent relief is absolutely in order. The question, though, was whether this temporary holiday is a good idea and whether adding a couple more months to it is going to help anyone. And on that front, I don't think that this is great. Look, I've enjoyed not having to pay it when I've bought a restaurant.
I've been to a couple of restaurants myself with the family, yeah. Now, Dan, you've mentioned how the government needs to provide certainty for business owners, especially during this difficult time. Break that down, what that looks like for us.
Yeah, look, Parliament isn't sitting, and there are several big outstanding tax issues. One, on April the 1st, we're having a liquor tax increase. April the 1st, we're having a 19% carbon tax increase. So all these things that we've made temporarily less expensive, we are planning to make permanently more expensive unless Ottawa changes gears. Plus, small businesses are waiting for some legislative changes to make the carbon tax rebate tax-free, to implement an increase in the lifetime capital gains exemption. But they're not sitting. And as a result, none of those things are going to be possible until Parliament comes back into session. And that's a shame. That's that tax fix that we really need.
Back to the tax break for a sec. How are organizations or your members preparing to tackle the impact of the taxes making a return, or won't it make a difference?
Look, I think the good news is that it will be easier to put the tax back on than it was to remove the tax. The real challenge, the administrative challenge for small businesses was primarily in the retail setting, because they had to go through that confusing list of thousands of items. They don't have to do that. They know which items are now they're going to have to add the tax back on. But here's the thing. Every single business that was subject to the holiday, Saturday night, after they close their doors, they have to then bring somebody in to reprogram point-of-sale machines and have that ready to go by Sunday morning. So the hassle isn't over.
What changes are you hoping to see moving forward, especially following the end of this tax holiday? You touched on a couple of points earlier.
Yeah, look, I think what this has taught us is that tax holidays don't work, temporary ones. All the data shows that it just, as several said, it just shifts sales from one period to the next. But Canadians desperately need some permanent tax relief. If the NDP wants to push for some permanent exemptions to the GST, including potentially restaurant meals, I think many Canadians and my small business members would welcome that.
Dan Kelly is the president of the Federation of Independent Businesses. He joined us from Toronto. Appreciate your time tonight. Thank you, Dan.
Anytime.